Hey everybody, welcome to the Messy Cook by Dale. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for all your support. Thanks for hanging out with me today especially. We are going to be making minestrone soup. Perfect time of the year for minestrone soup. And this is a good hearty meal. It's vegan, it's vegetarian, so it's good for everybody. We are starting with a Dutch oven like this. I've put 2 tablespoons of EVOO in the bottom of this, which is extra virgin olive oil. To that, I added two stalks of celery that I diced, as well as 2 good-sized carrots that I also diced, and an onion, about a small onion that I diced as well. Threw that in here. That is called a mirepoix, or what I like to call it is the Holy Trinity. And that is really the basics of a lot of soups and stews and sauces. It really, a lot of cooks use it. It's very, very basic. All right, so I let that, I cooked it for about 5 minutes and put a little bit of color on it. Not a lot, but a little bit of color, and it's ready to go. So to that, I'm going to raise this a bit. To that, I'm going to add 4 cloves of garlic. If you don't like garlic, don't use it. Simple as that. I'm just going to cook the garlic until it's fragrant. And it's fragrant. Okay, to that I am going to add 1 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. Now, as you all know, if you watch my YouTube channel, I really like the San Marzano tomatoes. They are, in my opinion, the best canned tomatoes you can buy.
The DOP, yeah.
DOP. They're imported from Italy, and they're canned right there in Italy. So generally, or always, the San Marzano tomatoes do not come cut up. That's one way you can tell it's an authentic San Marzano tomato. It comes whole. So what I did, because I needed to dice them, is I made a mess and I put them on my counter and I cut them into sort of squares, a rough square, and I threw it back in. So this is what I have here. So we've got, we've got 1 28-ounce can of good tomatoes. If you're going to make a soup like this, I mean, you want to really have good ingredients, because the tomatoes are really the star of the soup. So you want to invest in a really good tomato, and it's a couple of bucks more than the usual tomatoes, but canned tomatoes, but in my opinion, well worth it if you can afford it. Now to that, I'm going to be adding all the ingredients, and we have 1 teaspoon of dried basil. You can use the fresh stuff if you want. Then you would use more. That's what, half a teaspoon of what's this? Oregano, and half a teaspoon of thyme. That goes in there. All right, give that a stir. It's a very simple soup, ready in less than an hour. Smells delicious. Okay, to that I'm going to be adding 1 15-ounce can of beans. Now these are navy beans. You can use cannellini beans, which is the traditional. You can use white kidney beans. I had a hard time finding the cannellini beans, so I went with navy beans, but any kind of bean you like. I mean, this is your recipe, so you can use what you want. Again, it's to your taste. So I've got a can here. What I did is I rinsed them really well. I drained them and I rinsed them really well. That goes in there. Okay, to that, I'm going to add 2 zucchini, 1 big zucchini or 2 small ones that I've also diced up. That goes in there. We've got a cup of fresh green beans that I prepared. I cut them and took off the ends. You can use frozen if you want, of course. And I mean, if you don't like this, you can add whatever vegetables you want. Look at this, it's almost like a stew. Okay, next I'm going to add 6 cups of vegetable broth. If you don't have vegetable broth, you can use chicken, but then it doesn't become a vegetarian or a vegan dish. But I mean, you know, if you don't mind that, then go ahead, and if it's all you got, go for it. So there is 4. Again, I like to use the lower sodium, or no salt added, and I'll put another 2 in there, and that's about 2. Okay, so there we have that. Okay, what else we got? All right, some salt and some pepper. A good sprinkling of pepper. I'm going to bring this up because it's going to come to a boil. Pepper, salt, good salt. Of course, you can always salt it at the table if you don't find there's enough salt. I prefer personally to do that because I don't want to have too salty a meal. That's for sure. Just all that effort is ruined, you know. So that takes care of that. And I'm putting in spinach. Now, spinach is not traditionally in a minestrone soup, but I had this in the fridge, and I was afraid it was going to go bad, so I thought, why not just throw it in there? It will add more protein. I mean, not more protein, but nutrients. That's about a cup or so. That'll cook right down. I mean, the great thing about a soup or a stew is that whatever vegetable you're throwing in, the juices from it and the nutrients will come out into the broth. So you're not losing anything. You're getting your nutrients. So you can't do better than that. Really hearty soup. You can have this with a loaf of bread and you're done. Okay, next thing to go in, and this is going to go in later, is macaroni, elbow macaroni, or any kind of pasta that you like. Now this, I didn't have elbow macaroni, which I usually do, which was odd. But I have this stuff, and this was the curly. I can't remember the name of it, but it was curly and it was kind of long. So I took my mallet, put all this in a bag, took my mallet and smashed it and put it into this size here so that it's manageable. There's a cup of that. That goes in later. What we're going to do now is we are going to bring this to a boil, and we're going to simmer it for 30 minutes. Once it's simmered for 30 minutes, I will add the pasta and cook it for another 10 or so until the pasta is ready. And then we've got a soup. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to let this cook for 30 minutes. I'm going to throw the pasta in at the 30-minute mark, wait another 10 minutes or so, or when the pasta is nice and tender, and then we'll come back. So I will see you in a bit. Hi everybody, we're back. Here's our minestrone soup. I let it cook for about 30 minutes or so. Then I added the pasta and let that cook for about 10 minutes, or when the pasta was tender. So there we have it. Let's give it a try. The apartment smells so good. It's a really hearty soup. We're going to get a nice crusty bread for this, eh Dan?
Yeah.
Make a trip to the store and get that. Now, you can garnish this with fresh basil if you have it. That would be really nice on top. I'm going to put parm, freshly grated parm. That's always nice too. And let's give it a try. Oh, it's delicious. Hearty. The veggies are just crispy enough. Beautiful soup. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. Please give it a try. It's not that hard, as you can see. You just get really good ingredients and put whatever you want in it. It's your soup after all. All right, so thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Be safe. Be kind to yourself and to the others around you. You know how important that is. Thanks for all your support. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up and a share, and subscribe and spread the word. That would be really great. Thank you. And yeah, I guess that's it. The only thing you have to know now is to forget the mess. Enjoy your minestrone soup.